Hello, this is the intro for college cooking number 3C, Gourmet Ramen Noodles. This method is going to be using the stovetop. Hope you enjoy. As we begin our last method for cooking, I just want to point out that this method is actually the best if you want to have friends over, because you're able to make multiple packets of ramen noodles all at once. So this is stovetop, and what you're going to need is a pan. Yeah, not a pan, a saucer. Yeah, that's what it's called. Not a flying saucer, different thing. 1 or 2 eggs, a bowl, some frozen veggies. They just happen to be in a bowl. They don't need to be. A fork, and however many packets of ramen noodles you're going to make. Obviously, the proportions of veggies and egg is going to be to the number of proportional to the number of packets of ramen noodles you want to make. So I'm just going to make the rest of these for this. And it looks like we've got beef flavored and chicken flavored. Should be fun. Alrighty, let's get started. The first step, which I already went ahead and did, is to fill this saucepan up with some water and then turn on the heat to high heat. Here it's at 9. 9 out of 10. Well, actually it's 9 out of max, but whatever. I'm not good with fractions. Just kidding, I'm pretty good with fractions. Anyway, you wait for it to boil. Okay, the water is boiling. We've got our 2 packets of ramen noodles over here. We're going to unpackage them and then stick them into the water, one at a time, as I will demonstrate. Alright, there we go. I put it in the water. As always, make sure you don't put the flavoring in the water, because that would be disastrous. So at this point, we're going to do this for about 45 seconds to a minute. A good thing to do while you're doing this is to take your fork and poke it a little, because you want to know when it gets soft, basically. This one's already getting pretty soft already. One thing you want to avoid letting it get too soft, because then it's really hard to get out. I speak from experience. Alright, so at this point it's basically soft enough, and it's been like 30 seconds. 45 seconds maybe. Okay. Yeah, see, this is proving to be difficult. But yeah, you go like that. Yeah. Let the water drip. Yep, there we go. And then you do the second packet. As always, I can't do this while filming, so I'm going to do it off camera. So here we go. So these are the off-brand ones, like the non-Mr. Noodle, and they did not seem as good. They're I got a lot over the counter, as you can see. They just kind of broke up. So keep that in mind maybe, but they seem to be cooking all right. Yeah, so at this point you just kind of wait. So let me get into the future a little bit. What we're going to be doing here is trying to make like an egg drop soup. Okay? The first thing we're doing is getting the noodles all cooked though and to the side, just because that'll be easiest. One thing you want to avoid when doing this is you want to get it so that everything gets cooked at the same time, right? So like, if I were just making one packet, I'd probably have less water, and then I just throw all the vegetables and egg in all at once. But what you want to avoid doing is getting it so the vegetables aren't cooked while the noodles are already soggy, like that kind of thing. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. Okay, yeah, these noodles are not good for this method. Ooh. Not going so great, is it? Okay, anyway. So yeah, the next thing is you're going to want to take your veggies, frozen veggies. You're just going to want to stick them into the water. Look at that, the bowl is steaming. Oh, you couldn't see it. The hot and cold. Alright, so yeah, you just kind of wait for those to get soft. It shouldn't take very long since we just poured them into a bunch of boiling water. I'm sure you could do a chemistry problem with specific heats and whatnot and quantity. So you say the mass of the water times the specific heat, and then the mass of the veggies times the specific heat, and then you solve it to figure out what the equilibrium temperature is. But we're not going to do that because this is not a chemistry class.
Okay, so the veggies are getting soft. Before they actually get soft, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to take your egg, which I just grabbed, and you're gonna want to crack it in to the soup. So I'm gonna do that. I sadly cannot film at the same time. Yeah, we'll get back to you. Yeah, so I cracked the egg in. It's there. You can see it. I would just Google how to make an egg drop soup. It's not very hard. You just kind of drop the egg into boiling water. Alright, so now that the egg is all cooked and the veggies are veggieing, you could put your noodles back in. Then you turn off the heat, and then you remove these from the heat. Then you pour your packaging in, and then you're basically done. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to be done. Well, there it is. It's all stirred up. The packets of flavoring are in. The veggies are in. You can see the chunks of egg. With this quantity, I probably should have used 2 eggs. That's something to consider. Yeah, and it's pretty much done. So as I said, this makes a much larger quantity, so it'll be good to share if you have guests over or whatever. But yeah, there we go.
So now that you've seen the 3 different methods of making gourmet ramen noodles, I just wanted to say some things about price. Ramen noodles are really cheap, alright? So are frozen vegetables, so are eggs, alright? So there you go. You put them all together and you've got one very cheap meal. I just want to point out ramen noodles aren't actually that healthy, so don't make a habit of eating these all the time. And as far as the amount of time it makes, I think I just finished editing the first video and it's about 11 minutes. It probably takes you less time to cook ramen noodles. The nice thing about like the microwave method or the kettle method is that it's not very, you don't need to be very focused to make the ramen noodles. You can kind of do it as a side thing while you study or while you're doing other things. With the stovetop, it's a bit more hands-on, so just keep that in mind. But it really doesn't take very long to cook any of them. Anyway, hope you enjoyed college cooking number 3, A, B, and C, and thank you for watching.